And for however many like therapists there were in the Austin area compared to the population, there was like 1,000 clients for each therapist. I can't serve 1,000 people. Does the bulk of the public, like what percentage of the population gets a massage with any regularity? 3%? Stop marketing to the 3% and start marketing to the 97. Find the people who don't understand what we do and teach them what we do. Go out and educate them. You have my complete permission to take this handwork and go, I'm going to start a class for nail techs, and I'm going to teach the nail techs how to work on each other. Who's going to become your clients? Because you're educating them. If you're smart, you're going to record that stuff, put it on Facebook, put it on social media, put it on Instagram, hashtag nail tech, hashtag nails, hashtag Austin nail tech, hashtag whatever it is, I don't know, manicures, whatever hashtags. You're educating your target market. You're laughing at me. I really think one of the core issues with our industry is I think the public doesn't understand what we do. And the more video we make and the more we actually engage in education, even if all we're doing is teaching them basic musculoskeletal anatomy and soft tissue techniques they can use on their loved ones, friends and family, teaching couples classes, whatever, I think that goes a long way to building a more professional stature for what we do. And I think it also puts us closer to an edge of working with the medical community, working with physical therapists and PTs, and understanding our role in the public sphere. Like, how are we engaging with the public to educate them about what we do? One of the things that is the most confusing to me, because when I went to massage school, it was not to work at a spa. I had one massage before I went to massage school because I felt so much slack in my muscles for the first time. My only thought was, well, I'll make more money per hour as a therapist, and if I can't afford the massage I need, I can trade for it. I was in pain. All my stuff from day one was pain relief, pain relief, pain relief. I had no idea that massage was good for pain until somebody gave me a massage. I worked at a health food store. The young lady was in massage school. Once I knew that, that was the direction I went. The public's association with massage and sex is confusing to me. I do not get it at all. Why does the public think that? I mean, other than Pornhub. And the thing is, the culture has a disconnect with touch itself. Touch. Yeah. And one of my very not so popular opinions is to make prostitution legal, regulated, more safe, taxed, so that Johns can be sent off to where they get what they want. People who choose to be in that profession can be in it safely. Sex workers are not vilified. I'm a big proponent for sex workers. And we have money to enforce and deal with human trafficking because some of those fees would go towards that. Separating our industry from that is a long-standing issue that I think needs to be separated. Trust me, I do not spend time studying all of that to deal with sex work. I'm trying to figure out how to help people who are in pain, right? The public's perception of what we do still, to me, is Phoebe from Friends. Phoebe had a smelly cat, she played a guitar, she served a lot of lattes, and she worked as a therapist in New York, apparently, right? Yeah. Have you guys seen the episode of Seinfeld where Seinfeld was dating the massage therapist and kept trying to get the therapist to say, oh, I'm just tense right here. Yeah. That's, on a mass media scale, that's what people think we do. They don't have a lot of context unless, let's see, is it Ashley Black, the fascia guru? Is she the one that bites people? Yeah. So what I see, and you have to think about this from a social media standpoint, social media and ethics. I don't share that video. Because is Ashley Black the one that bites on people? No. Ashley Black's the Fosher Blaster lady. This is it Dr. Dot? I think it's Dr. Dot. So Dr. Dot, if you're out there, please contact me. I'd love to do like an interview with you and ask you why you're biting on people. I don't understand what's going on here. Massage. So I run Massage Entrepreneurs. Someone will come in and share that video and say, I don't understand this, I don't like it. You know, they complain about it. And I'm like, listen, I know that you don't like it, but you do a really great job of advertising her. And they're like, I don't advertise her. I'm like, ma'am, you just shared that video to 13,000 potential people. I guarantee you've never shared one of my videos. What gets noise in social media? What people like, comment, and share on, which is why Facebook has become cantankerous, because your MAGA-loving, supporting, hat-wearing uncle who's a complete racist is like saying stuff, making people angry. People are liking, commenting, sharing, arguing. That's what gets shared, in addition to cat videos. Because it's the extremes. It's what you pay attention to that gets shared. You know, a middle-of-the-road therapist going, oh, do you have hand pain, is real boring in that space. Does it make sense? So I think about those things from an ethical standpoint about, like, what do I like, what do I share, what do I promote? Because so the thing is, when I see stuff that I don't like, you know what I do? Scroll. I go, oh, wow, this is dumb. I want you to think of social media increasingly, if you can wrap your mind around this. Don't think about social media as a way to consume. Think about social media as a way to produce. You have the power of Hollywood 30 years ago in your pocket. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about the handwork? How do your hands feel? Because a lot of hands and arms, that was mostly what we did this morning, right? Or the first half of this class. Does anybody have any feedback on the handwork?
We had a hard time. First I was facing her, you know, with the elbow, and didn't feel right. When you came, you know, you just so almost like making sure which hand, you know, which side you work.
Yeah.
Once you did, it's like, oh yeah, it feels right, the direction of the muscle.
Much of what you're going to do, the problem is I use my tools. I've used my tools a million times, so I know how they're shaped, I know how they flow, and I've done it so many times I don't have to think about it. If I would go tonight, do any of you do tango? Because I'm real white. And if you taught me tango, I mean, I'm sure I can learn it, but I would like to step on your toes and like how do you, because the person who's done tango for years doesn't think about tango. Oh no, they feel tango, right? You have to learn how to use your tools, and a lot of times what it feels like I'm doing, there's a little bit of a dance with the client. I'm learning how to ergonomically make my body fit theirs.
Yeah, because for example, I'm short and and the table is, you can go, it's at the maximum, and sometimes I don't have my feet on the floor.
Yeah.
So that I don't know how to.
Physically and the body mechanics, my complaint is your mat is too tall and it's not big enough. It's not wide enough. Make sense? The mat-based body mechanics would change everything, and it gives us, in some ways, more options. There's a few things you can't really do on a mat, but for the most part, I feel like it just opens up a larger space. It doesn't mean you can't do some of the same things on the table. You're just going to have to practice to be able to make the person's body fit. And let's say I was putting their hand on here, and like their hand, for some reason their arm, it doesn't rotate that way. Then what do I do? Then I have to be crafty and try to figure out, okay, what's causing that restriction? How can I free up that restriction if it is soft tissue based? And once we've done really effective work for them, I have to make it as easy on my body as possible. Our clients do not care at all how hard we work. What do they care about? Results. Results. And if you can produce results, if you can even just educate them a little bit as you work about your process of like trying to get them results, I think they esteem our profession more highly. They look at you and your level of professionalism is higher. You form deeper connections with the clients that leads to more rebooking, that leads to regular clients, that leads to a more lucrative practice, which means you can also continue to afford vacations, CE classes, things that improve your skill set. Usually when I'm going around, I'll just see, oh, that doesn't look quite right. They look like they're straining. And I'll try to give them an option that makes it easier. There's usually 20 different ways to do the same thing. I think about it in martial arts terms sometimes. So if you think about martial arts, I guess you've got a punch and you've got a kick. And on one level it sounds very easy, but it's like, okay, where are you punching or kicking them? Are you trying to stun them? Are you trying to knock them out? Are you trying to break a rib? All those parameters change things, right? I think the same thing happens within bodywork. It depends on intent. It depends on the tool you're going to use. And if you're a martial artist, you're looking for your opponent's weakness. And you say, their right leg isn't as strong. Like, I think their weak spot is that leg, and then you're going to focus on that. You have to think about the bodywork that way and how to like customize it to you and then customize it to the client. X marks the spot is when it's exceptionally effective for the client and it's absolutely as easy as possible on your body. They do not care if we work hard. But when those 2 points cross, that's it. That's the good stuff that I think really promotes career longevity. Do you guys have any questions at all before we go to lunch? Not all at once.
I kind of want, I know there's other ways that you work with the pecs, but I love that compression with the knee. And
It's gold.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also felt like, oh, if I could have just kind of propped my chest up a little bit more to have that or hanging off the table as that's happening, it would have just been like incredible. Yeah, I don't know.
So, here's the thing. When I work on a mat, if you were doing relaxation sessions, you could have tons of props, bolsters, blankets, pillows to like prop them a million different ways because it's going to provide a different support structure. As soon as she tells me that, I'm like, I'm just going to talk to her, find out what, she knows her body better than I do. She lives in it every day. I'm going to find out what she's looking for and try to deliver that on the mat. I feel like there's more options on the mat, and when I'm dealing with a bulk class, it just depends on like, let's show them one thing, kind of explore, show them one thing, kind of explore. If I start going into all the permutations, it's like people think, like I wrote, okay, prone, supine, side lying, seated. No, like she was pregnant. I'm like, I've got my feet like this and I'm digging in her back with my feet and she's doing a back bend over my back. I've got pillows, bolsters, and blankets. I'm back here. So she's like this. And I'm massaging her back with my feet. It gets to the point where it's not side lying. It's like they're at 45 degrees and then I'm pulling the arm this way, but I've got my knee in her neck and I'm tractioning, if you will, up towards the suboccipitals. Like I'll change things a million different ways depending on your response and depending on your feedback, and I encourage you to tell me what you're feeling, to like get nuance and connection with you specifically. I don't do like a cookie cutter routine. When people find out I don't do sequences, they get freaked out. They're like, what do you mean you don't do a sequence? And I'm like, no man, I work on you. What's the sequence I do on you? Because you are completely different than you, and you are completely different than you. I have to work on each of you, which means I have to craft a new routine for each of you based on what you're having problems with. The rote sequence is just to get started. So is it more that you're wanting work in the pecs?
Yeah, like just a little bit more stretched out while that compression.
So guess what we're doing after lunch?
What?
We're going back into side lying and doing some of that. Yeah, which I had already kind of planned for. I didn't want to keep us in side lying too long on the first day because that was kind of like the first half of the day. It's a lot of side lying for therapists who never work in that position. We're going to warm you up again, and in fact, I'll use you as the model if you want. Does that work? Yeah. Tons of options. I'm always going to tailor the session as much as I can to the client, and I like when clients want to work with me as opposed to just thinking, no, you do the work, I'm going to relax. I think for pain relief, more verbal communication at times is more effective to bring nuance to the session. And what she's saying is, no, but my body wants more of that. So it's more lengthening through the pecs? Yeah. Lunchtime, it's 12:48. We'll come back right at like 2 o'clock. How you guys feel about that? Sound good? Thank you guys so much for your time and attention.
So can you also do like sub-step, like show us how to reduce
Sure.
the sub-step? So that's
Sure.
like,
I just want a massage.
What?
I just want a massage.
You just want a massage. He's an artist. He just wants to make art. I want him to be rich like Picasso and be able to slowly destroy himself with his vices because he can afford to. Like, he wanted to be like, like Motley Crue or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not be an artist and make money so you can essentially do what you want to do in the art and make choices? Because poverty, you know how many choices you got with poverty? Man, yeah. Now, I've grew up in a very kind of like middle class environment, never missed a meal, but there wasn't a lot of money. That was what I always heard as a kid. We don't have any money for that. We can't afford that. And it was like, that stuff like ate in my consciousness as a kid. I'm kind of afraid of poverty. I hate, loathe, you cannot imagine being in credit card debt, not being able to pay bills on time, then having to pay a bill to like get your electricity turned back on. That sort of stuff, I don't like that. Why do massage therapists not like business? It's intimidating, and that's a totally legitimate reason. So let's take business out of our industry. Let's say business generally, not promoting our businesses, not promoting massage and the massage industry. What do we not like about business?
Only if it gets greedy and
Greedy.
if it gets to be misrepresentation of what you're going to get for what you pay for.
So they're switch and bait and switch.
You don't want that.
Also, it's hard to put so much into something that did not work out. So it's a lot to put in without knowing the outcome.
No, I feel like you'd fail. I mean, do you feel the same way about the art though? Like you put so much into the art and it doesn't work?
Well, no, because
You can't always see your results right away.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting time and effort into something, and sometimes,
In the business?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's like you have to wait.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing all this. It's like, okay, I'm waiting for the clients now.
it's like
Oh,
You have
okay.
to come in like next
So,
day.
and that's interesting because when you give a massage, you know pretty much
yeah,
immediately.
you know.
It's a very
They
immediate,
tell you.
like, I feel good because I helped the person and they feel better and
Right.
I made money
Instant
and they,
gratification
yeah.
kind of thing.
And then I guess business sometimes, yeah, there is a lot of delayed
Yeah,
gratification, if at all.
yeah.
Have you ever done something in business and you really worked hard at it and it just completely abysmally failed?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
well, when I first started, I was working kind of for myself, and I was a terrible marketer. So I didn't really go out market, and I got no business, So I
Yeah.
just worked for a small instead.
But you felt like it was a failure because you tried it and it didn't work?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really confident, I guess, at that time. I just got out from school, so I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like now, I could probably do it because I'm much more confident.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you know how, you've got the muscle memory for it, and it's like you can almost apply it to a motorcycle and apply it to maybe a unicycle. But if you don't have the muscle memory for it, it feels really awkward and weird, and you keep falling over and it doesn't work. My model of business is often just throwing spaghetti at a wall, and you just keep cooking it and see what sticks. The other problem is thinking I know how it's going to be. My business looks nothing like what I thought I was starting 10 years ago. Nothing. If you had asked me, or if you had told me, Robert, when you took me in my front yard and I was crying in my front yard in my garden because I didn't have any clients and I didn't know why and didn't understand the business, and if you had taken me and said, Robert, you're going to be teaching online to a nearly worldwide audience with a subscription service for $7 a month, I would have went, what? Like that is so far afield. And once I got to about here, I said, it's impossible to teach online. What does Robert now do?
Teach online.
I mean, I still teach in person, still see clients, but things change because my perspective changed over time. I think that it's almost mandatory. I want you to go out and fail. And I want you to fail epically with great finesse. So I don't want you to fail and lose $10,000, but I definitely want you to fail losing $100. and just trying, well, what if I change the logo on the business cards? Okay, maybe I run an Instagram ad. There are so many options now because of the phone, because of social media, that you can do for free, that your epic failure, it just isn't that epic. I just want you to put your all into it and try. Because when you make video, here's what's going to happen, and I encourage students to make video constantly. Here's what they do. They make really horrible videos. And I like those videos, and I comment on those videos, and I say, good job, keep it up. People share it in our private Facebook group. They critique each other's videos very positively and say, I really like the music in this one. I think you need better lighting in that one. So they're not just tearing them down, they're building them up. And here's what happens. When they get, I like this, I like the music in this. Wow, you played hip hop music instead of spa stuff. Robin, who was here yesterday, she keeps making videos. Keeps making videos. You know what they do? They slowly get better. Because you have to do it poorly before you do it well. I do not know how to paint as an artist. I understand that you can take a brush and Bob Ross it out and apply some paint to a canvas. I'm not going to be very good at it when I start. How do you get good at it? Yeah, and the thing is, you do not become Picasso unless you paint for 30 or 40 years and you do it every day. The same thing happens in business building. The reason I'm very adamant about business building is this puts your heart on steroids and amphetamines. You can build the businesses of the future, and you can do it for nearly free. This device set me free. When I really understood what was going on, my parents did not prepare me to question authority. My school system did not prepare me to question the dominant paradigm. I was always in trouble with my bosses because they didn't follow the rules, because I kept saying, but we could do it this other way and this would be much more effective. And they're like, we don't pay you to think, we pay you to shut up. Just do what we tell you to do. The moment I walked into my home studio, because I had built the business enough to work for myself, and I'm wearing a Pink Floyd t-shirt and tie fisherman pants and it's 11 o'clock, I was a success story. I was like, you mean there's nothing wrong with me? Because everybody always thought something, no, I'm an entrepreneur and I run around with this thing like a madman going, why are you not filming and photo documenting everything you do and distributing it? There is no middleman anymore. All the barriers of entry are gone. When people come to me and they say, Robert, I have a business problem, we have a $10,000 budget. I'm like, boring. When a massage therapist comes to me and says, Robert, I have no idea how to use social media, I have zero budget, I'm like, that's exciting. And this is a challenge. This is fun. This is rule breaking. This is anarchy. And this is what I represent. And the last time I taught here at Lauterstein Conway, I did not know if this class would happen again, because a woman who was in this class called the school and left several voicemails and complained and moaned, and he filmed the class and he did this, and they said, Robert, we don't allow people to film their classes. And I said, oh, well, it wasn't in the contract. Because they'd never considered that someone would come in with a film crew and film their entire class. This is not normal educator behavior in the massage industry. I run around like this because of this guy. Gary Vee was the street hustle that came in and made me look at it from a different angle. This is an extremely potent tool. When I had a conversation with Knives at lunch, Knives wants me to put the fear of God in you. Oh, God. Sorry, guys.
Well, all right, nice, thanks.
Knives wants me to talk about Stretch Lab and talk about stretch motion and talk about industry disruption and talk about the fact that if you do not evolve and you do not evolve rapidly enough and start using this, you're going to get left behind. I don't know how I feel about the industry in the next 10 years. I will say this, I think based on what I've seen, Massage Envy looks a lot like McDonald's. And they're big guys, and they have deep pockets, and they have their fingers in legislation, and there's stuff going on. But when Massage Envy does things like add Strato, which is a stretch service, to try to compete with these stretch facilities that are opening up, and these stretch facilities that are opening up, they're not opened up by massage therapists. They're opened up by entrepreneurs who see a hole in the marketplace that we did not fill. And when you develop niche services, there's a twofold thing that happens. One, you have to stand out because you have to do something different. It means you're going to have lovers and haters. But I would rather have people have like a deep emotional response on either end of the spectrum than be lukewarm and just have no opinion and not care and not like or share my videos. Or write me hate mail, please. If you don't like me, write me hate mail. Because then I'm like, yes! Like I did something trying to help people that's making people angry. And that makes me feel like Jesus, and that feeds into my messianic complex and all that stuff. I think niche bodywork services are the future. McDonald's is there. People want a grass-fed, locally grown, microgreens, artisanal burger. We went to the Noble Sandwich, which is, have you guys eaten there before? The Noble Sandwich, if you guys check this out, your food's great, by the way. It's just sandwiches, but I had it was a PBLT. So it was like a BLT, but it wasn't bacon. It was actual slices of pork belly. Yeah, just thinly sliced. So they're not smoked, it's not bacon, it's not cured, but just thin slices of pork belly. Where else can I get that? Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a real simple modification. I mean, people know that pork belly exists, but that's the thing. They're serving a niche audience. It's not just, well, here's ham. It's not white bread. A little more artisanal, a little more niche. I don't know what's going to happen to the massage industry within the next 10 years. I think that Massage Envy is in trouble because Massage Envy as a large corporation can't sell connection. That's their vulnerability. They can change their logo to me. It's about me. ME, Massage Envy. Have you guys noticed that they kind of tweak their branding? Yeah. People desperately want touch. They desperately want connection. They desperately want community. Those things, I think also, like when we talk about Keep Austin Weird as a local business, Keep Austin Weird is a local business thing. Support local business. When stuff like Amazon comes out, consumers support that because it's cheaper than the competition, less expensive than the competition, it's easier than the competition, it's all those things, right? How many of you support small business and still buy stuff from Amazon?
For our small business.
Yeah. And now
I support my small business with Amazon.
Yeah. And it's not like I have anything against Jeff Bezos. In fact, Jeff, if you get this, love to hang out with you, buddy. We'll hang out. Maybe I'll give you a session, Jeff. We can hang out. You can talk to me about entrepreneurship. I'm interested. I don't look at big business as evil. If you want to make $1 million, you need to solve 1 million problems. I think Grant Cardone said that. When I'm solving problems, I'm just offering solutions and then monetizing that. I'm providing it and making it available to people. When students kept telling me that they're broke and their hands hurt, I'm like, okay, I'm delivering body work, but then, well, they need education. Can I deliver education more inexpensively? And I'm like, how about $7 a month? And it's working. It's working on a scale that actually surprises me. We haven't really started advertising yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Knives has been warning me. He's like, you need to figure out what you want to do with your life because you're going to have the resources to do it soon. When we deal with business, I want you to be optimistic and I want you to think about what you can potentially do to tell your story, to engage with people. Massage Envy can't use this. They can run an ad. They're never going to connect with individual consumers the way you will on Instagram stories. Somebody will write me from Sweden on Snapchat and will message me and I'll message them back using this. Eric Dalton doesn't currently do that, to my knowledge. I'll tease Eric Dalton forever in video, by the way. Eric, we should hang out too in Costa Rica. This technology is getting smaller, it is getting more compact, and eventually it will be inside you. Trust me, I know where it's going. And we don't have to go all Terminator and Matrix on the singularity, but the technology. How many of you get around regularly with Google Maps or some sort of Guys, I don't know how I survived until Google Maps arrived. And now a completely free app. I mean, they're mining data from it, of course. They know where I'm going and, activity levels and whatever.
How did you like this place?
Yeah. But at the same time, we trade it off because we get a little free advantage where like I can figure out where I'm going when I go to a new city. Like I can orient myself using the map. This technology is growing, it's changing, it's developing. If Twitter makes you nervous, it's totally fine. You just start small. You start with Facebook, you start with the YouTube channel, you build, you learn, you grow. I'm happy to talk with you at any point about that. Everything you want to do can basically be set on fire by this in the good way, in my opinion. This is just an amazing marketing tool. When you tell me you have no budget, I'm like, that's not even a factor. You don't have a budget? So? Like most people, how many of you don't have a smartphone? Why do you not have a smartphone? Don't want one. Okay. How do you market yourself?
I don't work for myself. I work at a school.
Okay. Are you happy there? Okay. Then that's cool. And that's what I want, is for her to be happy. I don't want her to adopt my model because, she's content and happy where she is. Does that make sense? The degree to which somebody might be left behind, I will say this. I know that when I go into schools, I ruffle feathers with the powers that be because my marketing is different. I show up with cameras and then I start doing crazy bodywork stuff they've never seen, and they start to kind of freak out and like, what is this guy doing? And I just go, listen, like people are paying me. Like I'm making money doing this. Like if I wasn't helping clients and I wasn't helping students and my bank account wasn't growing, I would stop. But you can't take me and make me like basically an anarchist and show me that I can build a bigger fire and have more capacity to destroy stuff and have a good time. Because then it's like Beavis and Butthead, right? Like you're just like, yeah, look what we did. I don't know how much fear you should have, but I do know that in 2019, if you're not using this to build business, I am completely and utterly confused. The point at which I realized that the technology in this phone is greater than what we put men on the moon with, that Hollywood is now just in my pocket, that I can take this out and document my day. And when I'm in Denver visiting Bradford, who's running a Thai massage jam, and he's got pork chop. Pork chop's his little chewini. I love chewinis. And pork chop is in my lap in the car. And then I took out my phone and I'm like, hey, it's me and pork chop hanging out, because we're in the car. Just that moment means that my followers get to see me interact with the dog. Who here likes dogs? Who here likes seeing Robert massage the little chewini? And it builds brand. Massage Envy can't do that. Massage Envy, as a corporate entity, is a large, faceless corporation. What people actively want is direct connection. This is 21st century word of mouth. I no longer have physical business cards. When people ask me if I have business cards, I go, you're not on Instagram? Or like, you can video chat me and I'll respond. I will say this is not going away. If I go and talk to local spa owners and say, listen, I'll train your staff for free in how to use this, they say, absolutely not.
Why?
Because I represent chaos. Because the next thing you know, I'm not showing the owner how to use this. I'm showing all of the staff how to use it to promote their business. And that means nobody's in control. Does it make sense? Now, there are no laws that restrict me from selling education essentially on the internet. There are no laws that restrict the information that I'm selling people that they're willing to pay for, which means there's no barrier of entry anymore. For me to open a school, I have to have a fire marshal's inspection. I have to have a layout, a plan of this or that. I can't have a school out of my office because it's a home-based studio. I couldn't get the permit to be able to open the school, much less file for the paperwork. I have an online school that scales worldwide. My distribution cost is almost zero. Make sense? the pressure they put on me made me crafty, and I just figured out how to go to direct to the consumer, because the reason I've not operated a brick and mortar, the reason I have not opened a facility, and students will ask me this all the time, why will I not open a place? They want to do what I'm doing, and I say, go start your own business, and they go, oh, but I want you to do it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to look at you and go, give me 60%.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to help you out of poverty. Does it make sense? I'm not against business owners, by the way. I don't think 60% even is like a bad deal, as long as I'm taking care of you to a certain point where there's this mutually beneficial relationship. But it's not my goal. Is that scary enough for him, Knives?
Yeah, you know, something I think about quite a bit is, like, I don't want anybody putting me out of business, you know what I mean? And if I'm working for somebody else, like, how secure is their job in 10 years? You know what I mean? So it's good to future-proof yourself as well and say, I'm in control of my narrative, and if some industry is to go down, like, I still have the tools to protect myself. Like, no one's gonna fire you, you know what I mean? Like, I look at that as incentive, personally.
The clients and the students could fire me.
I mean, but there's more where that comes from.
We all respond to someone. I think you should use this to build your business. I don't think it's so much like fear-based. Like, I'll not stop drumming this, by the way. I won't stop using this. And the more I use it, the more my business grows, the more extensive it becomes. It will probably get to the point where I have Knives or a crew of people that Knives helps me organize, who almost come around and just film my life and cut it up for social media. That's what I assume is coming. I've never seen an educator in our industry do that, but I think it's where I'm going.
But could you imagine if Buddha was on Instagram? Could you imagine?
Yes.
But for real though.
And I think that his messages would be really, really poignant. The Four Noble Truths is quotable, bro. Yeah, the Eightfold Path. What questions do you guys have about business? And it could be related to social media marketing, it could be anything else.
So where do you post your videos? On YouTube?
Everywhere. Every platform I can find. Do you know what Twitch is?
No.
So I'm gonna give you kind of the edge, because there's like Facebook and Instagram, we kind of know those. Do you use social media much at all? Facebook? And then is there certain things that you're consuming regularly that you do you notice? Is it just to keep in touch with family and friends?
Well, I have a mission site as well.
A mission site? And what's the mission site?
Kids to Kids Outreach Mission Hope.
Cool. So like kind of like a nonprofit thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when I started, I didn't know what YouTube was. And if you want to go back and watch my original YouTube videos, they're horrible. I've purposely not removed them because I go back and laugh at my own videos. And we could talk about that at length. But I started with YouTube, and then Facebook started integrating more video. And then I was putting video on Facebook. And then all of a sudden it was like Instagram, and then Instagram Live, and then Facebook Live, and then Twitter Live, and then it just kept growing. And then I would hear about Twitch, and I'm like, what is Twitch? And here's the deciding factor to whether I was going to start broadcasting on Twitch. I found out Amazon purchased them. What do we think about Jeff Bezos and his business decisions? So Twitch started as a gaming platform, and what kids would do is they would film themselves like on camera. They would be playing video games, and their friends are like watching and like commenting and participating like as a group activity. And the video processing and software has gotten better so that you'll see me in the corner of the screen, so you actually see my face playing, but you'll see the game I'm playing. I've streamed myself playing poker on Poker Stars, going, oh sure dude, raising 7-2 out of position, what are you doing? You know, like, because it's funny content, because I'm a body worker, right? I live streamed an entire table tie class from my home studio. I guarantee you I had 13-year-old kids wandering in from Denmark and going, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I came here from Minesweeper. It's just another channel, just like HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, cable, CNN. They're just different channels, and they keep expanding because of technology like this. I generally just go where people are and try to give them some content they can use. What I started to notice about Twitch, if you go and dig, there's a lot of video game channels, which are great if you're into those things. People are doing crafts. There's a young lady who will sit down for 3 hours and make crafts out of popsicle sticks. And then people are donating money to her live.
There's a tip jar that's there.
And she's talking with them, commenting with them, going, here's the Elmer's glue, here's the glitter. There are people painting like Bob Ross who are showing the whole thing of they're making this painting, and then people are putting in bids to try to buy the painting. Like the technology, you know, as a whole, it's not just about Twitch. It's not about the platform. It's not about the channel. It just keeps growing and evolving. I just try to continue and grow involved with it. What I will tell you happens is this. It builds very strong brand. People trust me now more because there are like 400 videos on my YouTube channel. They're going to trust me more because Knives is going to take this footage and edit it and make it a little more glossy and polished. And they're like, man, Robert Gardner's a rock star. Right? It also allows us to educate people directly. So the mission that you deal with the kids, what's its goal?
Building churches, clinics, schools, and water projects in Guatemala and Mexico,
How do you get people involved in that?
usually through the local diocese, which is not easy. So,
Can people donate money?
yeah,
Do you go down to Guatemala in these places?
we do.
Do you film?
We short videos.
Yeah, and I would encourage that, because the more you put out video content and information about those people and those struggles and what you're trying to do as a mission, it's just drawing more people into your story. It's getting more people involved. And here's the thing. Do people make decisions about money? Do they base it on logic? Or do they base it on how they feel? Emotion. When I kind of tweaked into that one day, because I was a philosophy student, logic, debate, rationalism, no, emotion, no. That sways. We need debate, right? Have you ever seen a Democrat and a Republican argue with each other and then they change each other's side? The Democrat becomes a Republican, the Republican... everybody laughs because it's emotional. Lots of our base decisions are emotional. If you show, I'm going to make assumptions here. If you show impoverished people who are struggling and you show it to wealthy people in America and say, listen, these people desperately need your help. If you humanize it, if you show it, you can't avoid it anymore. You know about it, you see it. Do you want to help? It's pulling on their emotions. It's pulling on their sense of connection, their sense of sharing, of helping. Why do we do things? We're massage therapists. We got into this business not to make money, but to help people. Why do we want to help people? Because it makes us feel good. We feel better. This blew my mind. I had back pain. I went to massage school. I would go to massage school, and then like the first couple times I remember working on somebody and realizing, wow, my back doesn't hurt as much when I work on other people. Why?
You feel good, you're helping.
That. And in addition, I think what happens is my focus wasn't, ow. My focus became, can I help? And once I focused on somebody else, it diminished my own sense of pain. Yeah. Using video production, and then let's say you're not good at video production. Do you write good posts, blog posts? Do you take good photos? There's a million different options. This is not going away. I will tell you this. It's not going away. This allowed me to be a success out of my garage. I have no idea what my practice looks like in 5 years. One of the things I was talking to you about yesterday was we're looking at sort of changing some of the curriculum. What I'm kind of looking at is doing intensives instead of individual classes. I take intro tie, table tie, squeeze it together. That's 5 days. We add an extra day for marketing. And here's what the film crew does. They pull you to the side. They shoot 2 or 3 videos for you that they're going to polish and stick up like your graphics for your business, for your social media. Follow me on Instagram. It's included in the package. Like pieces of your marketing are included in the package. And then on the day we cover marketing, we show you briefly, here's how you set up your YouTube channel. Here's how you upload the video. Here's how you keyword tag that, because Google owns YouTube YouTube is search engine optimization. The reason I show up on the first page when you search for Thai massage anywhere in Texas typically is because all those backlinks from those 400 plus YouTube videos that we add to every day is another backlink to my website. Does it make sense? There's a big sort of overarching picture of what's going on with business related to Amazon, Google, large, corporate interests. But at the same time that large business is growing, it gives me more potential to reach out, and it gives your mission a chance to get out its message to a nearly worldwide audience. It was not that long ago, somebody came in from Singapore. They bought like $120 worth of my retail items digitally. One, my distribution is almost zero. Two, I have no idea why some guy in Singapore is buying Thai massage materials from a guy in Texas, but thank you. Just please, thank you, thank you. Do you guys have other questions? Business.
Do you separate on the social media the private and your business?
Ooh. As I continue to use social media, all of the social media is business. It doesn't mean I don't chat with you. It doesn't mean we don't have a personal conversation. It doesn't mean I don't include stuff in my business channels that's related to me and my personal brand and my personal life and what's going on with me. I still have a private, when I say private, I have a personal Facebook page that's just me. Students friend me there all the time. Increasingly, this media is just social. There's less and less separation between me as a business person and me as a person. Do you have challenges for that as a woman?
I don't want to, because if I post some stuff personal, I don't want to share.
Sure. So your Facebook page, your personal profile, you just learn how to filter that. So that just goes to your friend and family.
Yeah, so you do just
And then you have a business
and
page.
that's it. The business
And then if you decide to get on Instagram, maybe that's just for business. And if you get on Snapchat, maybe that's just for business. If you get on YouTube, maybe that's just for business. I don't really do social media for fun. All of the social media I do is for business. I would literally do this. I would take things from, my wife's daughter just gave birth to her first grandbaby, Olivia. Olivia is a tiny little baby. Robert doesn't have kids. Robert holds the baby. We post that photo on social media. There's 100 women who like this photo. And that's in my personal profile, but it builds brand. It says Robert is safe with children. Robert also likes Cheweenies. He likes little dogs.
Means about the name of the business, it's better to keep just our name.
And
or to
so
very separate
that's
and have
that's
business
mixed.
name.
My business name is Robert Gardner Wellness.
Yeah.
You decide how personal you want it to be. How many of you have a business name that's very succinct? That's in other words, people refer to you as Keith. They don't refer to you as your business name, right? And unless you're hiring people and building a facility and building a larger brand, they're always going to come to you personally. That's how because I think we're in a deeply, deeply intimate and personal profession. That's why I use this. I think in a weird way, this is the perfect marketing thing for the massage industry. They almost refuse to use it. They're fighting it tooth and nail. I don't like it. And I'm like, okay, don't like it. I'm going to go get rich. I got stuff to do and teach and sell and share and, educate people, right? I think the degree to which you make it personal and the degree to which you make it private, the degree to which you make it business is completely up to you. It's all customizable. And if you say, listen, I don't like Snapchat, I don't have no interest, don't be on Snapchat. Just use the platforms that you want to use. And what do you enjoy? What kind of business are you trying to build? If I was on Twitch, and I have reasons for that, the reason I got on Twitch is what kind of audience is on Twitch? Because I'm already thinking, I'm like, James, can we run Snapchat ads? Oh my God, James, listen, we can run a Snapchat ad in Dallas. We can target people who are 26 years to 18 years old who are in massage school, give them a free Thai massage workbook. Maybe we can get a month-long subscription to my subscription service through a Snapchat ad. A friend of mine who uses Snapchat all the time was like, dude, Snapchat doesn't have all that data. I'm like, do you, what? And we argued about it for 5 minutes. I took out my laptop, went to snap.com, pulled out their portal, and it's here's how our demographics are broken down for advertising, age range, they knew all this information. We can use that to target your target market clients. The degree to which you want to make it personal and the degree to which you want to make it business is forever customizable. And I would recommend you do it in a way that's going to work best for you. Because I'm not your business. Does that make sense? Did you have a question?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, I think that the days of the kind of overly professional person, like, we're just not, we don't.
Why? Why is it happening?
Seem like a
You don't
fake,
trust that.
it seems like a, you know, a mannequin
fake, yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not authentic.
Yeah.
So authenticity sells. And why does authenticity sell?
For the
Trust.
connection.
Trust, connection, rapport. I like telling people what I don't know. I like showing people the edges of my thought. I like showing people where I'm not very confident. And I go, man, I keep making YouTube videos and the people keep calling me fat. Because people relate to that. I had another educator talk to me and he's like, man, I'm getting older and I'm like gaining weight and it's like I don't feel like I look as good on video and this and that. And I'm like, yo, man, document your weight loss journey. And show me going to the CrossFit gym and going, ugh. Like, I can't wait to go back to Bikram yoga because I'm going to go, okay, guys, I'm about to go in. I'm going to talk to you in 90 minutes. And I'll come out and be like, I'm dead. I'm dying. Because people respond to that because we know what it's like. We're all human. Authenticity is lazy, and that's why I like it. It's way much more work to put on a facade and act like something's going on that's not. It's much easier for me to just press a button on a camera and go, look, I'm in my garage. Please, I need clients. I need you to, please help a person out of poverty. I don't know. I don't want to struggle. I have a light bill. And you're laughing, but how do people respond when you see those videos? It's always, the comments I get, it's always from funny stuff. It's always when I'm goofing around. I notice this. It's like I can deliver extremely poignant information about the thenar eminence and adductor pollice and there's no comments. But as soon as I do something funny, oh, there's like tons of comments and people laughing at whatever I'm doing.
How do I get my MySpace page off the ground?
MySpace. I mean, it's a traffic source,
I have Tom,
The platforms will continue to change. What do we think of HBO right now?
Game of Thrones, and that's it.
Well, because of Netflix. And Netflix ate a big chunk of the industry. Well, you know that Netflix approached Blockbuster and said, hey, Blockbuster, we'd like to handle your online distribution. And Blockbuster said, no, our research shows us that people like going to the store and like encountering their neighbors and picking up popcorn. There's only one Blockbuster left in the United States. Yeah.
Toys R Us died, right?
Yeah.
Well, that market's getting kind of weird now too. They're just because like Disney and then there's Hulu.
Because now they're fighting, they're cannibalizing. They're fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see debates about it, and it's like parents are getting up in arms, like, I'm not paying for Disney too, and this and that. Yeah. It's just distribution. The distribution is easier and easier and easier than ever. What I will say is, you as a single, do you work completely for yourself?
Yep.
Absolute control.
Yep.
Global distribution. When I started to understand what was going on, people will ask me, Robert, if you could go back in time and you could do any one thing, and with what you know now, and I go immediately, I was like, I would have hired Knives. I would have taken every single cent I had and said, Knives, I will pay you whatever I can physically pay you till time immemorial if you will start shooting videos now and mass producing video footage for all platforms. At that time, it would have been YouTube. I started with a flip cam. The videos were not as good as this. Trust me, they were horrible. Horrible quality. But I started, and you just continue to let it progress. I'm a big proponent of this because it's new technology, relatively. People are still learning how to use it. We're only slowly figuring out business capacity. How many of you use Square with your phone? How do people run business cards with that carbon paper?
Oh, that thing.
Ooh, man.
I have a little reader.
Yeah. Square and all that, it's like now you've got access to PayPal, you've got Apple Pay, you've got increasing technology. I tell people sometimes that I think the thing that's most innovative about the massage industry within the last 10 years is online scheduling. When I first wanted to add online scheduling to my website, I was like, I don't need that. I email my clients, talk to my clients. Why I got to do that? I was like, you're not charging me. You get $18 a month for me out of my dead body. Now, once we set it up, what happened? The client scheduled it at 1 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up and went, whoa. Like, I didn't have a phone call. I didn't waste any time. And that's what I bought back was time. Make sense? When you produce video, don't think it has to be glamorous. Don't think it has to be a poignant message every single time. Sometimes my Instagram is just pictures of food I made or stuff I'm proud of, or hey, I grew some corn. Look, I got a corn, or a pepper plant or whatever it is. People love that stuff. There was an Enol recently. You can see my Instagram. There was an Enol recently that got in our house and we couldn't catch him, and he just like jumped up on my laptop. Like I'm sitting there and he's like, Broop. I'm like, oh hey, what's up? Gojira. Yeah. More questions, business stuff, before we get back to bodywork?
When it comes to giving classes online, it's okay if you're not an MTI or certified or anything like that?
I got a lawyer. I'm going to tell you a story. My lawyer charges $300 an hour. You learn to be terse. Because I don't sit down and have philosophical conversations with my lawyer. My lawyer knows I'm an entrepreneur. He knows I'm looking for an angle, and I'm looking for money, and I'm looking to disrupt. And I go, lawyer, this is what I want to do. And he's like, you can't do that. It's illegal. But you could do this. And I go, lawyer, I want to do this. And he's like, you can't do that. It's illegal, but you could do this. And I said, lawyer, I want to teach online. He went, online? Online? He's like, don't tell him to break the law. Don't coach him to break the law. Don't encourage him to break the law. You could teach online worldwide with literally zero liability. And I went, oh, shit. I was like, uh-oh. I think we just figured something out. Because I'm putting information like these videos, some of them will wind up on Teachable. I have easy, nearly global distribution behind a paywall.
Well, I guess you have to think about it. It's like people who teach you how to do makeup online. They don't have a license to do that. People are just like, oh, I want to learn how to do makeup.
The challenge is massage therapists are starting to get a bit huffy because they realize that people who aren't licensed are subscribing. And I'm like, she lives in Nairobi, Kenya. I don't know what the law is there. Like, because I give away information for free on YouTube. It's good quality information. It's not any less quality than what's on Teachable. It's just that Teachable was a big bulk recordings, unedited, raw insides of my practice and classes that I could give you for $7 a month. That was great information for students who were on a budget, who were interested in what I'm doing, and also lived in South Dakota and couldn't afford to come to class all the time. The information flow is like far as like starting like online stuff, dude, it's the Wild West. And people don't understand how the technology works, so generally they seem to be afraid or not thinking they can distribute information that way. The way that I shifted from thinking, well, I can't teach online. The reason I said I couldn't teach online is because I couldn't do all of it online. Because you'd have to take class in person for me to show touch, pressure, timing. But video, it's like, so you mean I turn on a camera and record everything I'm already doing and just sell the recordings? Like you give me an entirely new revenue stream for doing nothing extra? Now think about it. Do you work for yourself completely?
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow you could decide to do this if your clients were okay with it. If your clients sign an AV waiver every day, you could go in, you figure out something that mounts around your neck that holds your phone. You press a button on it, you start Facebook Live, and you say, hey, I got to get the sheets ready, get the room ready, and basically document your entire life. You show yourself working on clients, you talk about your business and marketing, you document your process. You can build a fan base or sell information to people. There's almost no laws on that. And I think also, like when older people complain about this technology and like kids and whatever else, it's like, how many people complained about the printing press? I'm sure some people thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah, the Catholic Church did.
Well, the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation is nothing compared to what this is going to do. This is eating industries, and it's not going away. It gives independent providers way more power. Like one of the things about one of my clients who also works with me as a consultant, as my business started to flip into digital realms, because he gets body work with me all the time. He's a high-end programmer. We're both very interested in disruption. But what he's really interested in is using software that he can design, develop, and program that allows 5 guys on their couch eating pizza to have the power of IBM. Right? When he started seeing my business flip, and he's like, oh, dude, I see it, man. Dude, you're selling data. Oh, dude, you don't understand digital distribution, man. And he would consult with me. He's like, dude, now. He's like, Robert, you don't understand what you're doing, man. And I'm like, oh. Because the distribution of a massage means they have to be in your physical presence. You can't currently get into a computer thing and like massage a computer and then it massages the person in Japan. See what I mean? The distribution is limited. What's the distribution limit on information currently? Currently, this planet. It's almost limitless, right? Yeah, I could talk about it forever. You guys ready to get back to bodywork? You can also ask more business questions. Do you have more as we're getting set up? Anything? Don't be shy.
We have to watch this though, because screens are killing us.
Why?
So that's the dark side. You have 3-year-olds that are addicted to screens now. You take it away, they actually go through withdrawal. This is scientifically documented.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just say, I'm just
Technology's got a downside.
As humans, we're letting the cat out of the bag.
Technology's got a downside.
I don't know if that it's the technology, it's the.
No, it
the
is the
lack.
technology. Apple designs the little the kid, the 2-year-old loves pressing that button, you take it away, they go through withdrawal.
But that's also creating a habit for yourself, and
I'm
holding
just,
yourself accountable
screens
to.
are, they're also taking down our brain power, our attention span, our
The
ability to talk, have a conversation.
Technology
with
itself
one eye.
and then data
We don't know
collection,
where this is gonna lead
it,
to Homo sapiens.
it very quickly leads towards WikiLeaks and Ed Snowden. I recommended that broke massage therapists.
We're going to wait till those kids are 40 and see.
I recommended that broke massage therapists go to Twitter, search hashtags, and find like CrossFit Austin, follow CrossFitters or people that fit their target market, connect them and direct message them. I was called a misogynist, a mansplaining asshat. I had educators in my industry with business degrees say, do not listen to him. That is stalking behavior. And I was posting pictures of Ed Snowden and the American flag and the Constitution, and I went, they give me the information. I didn't stalk anyone. They give me the data.
They tell me
They
where to find them.
they hashtag Lululemon. They hashtagged CrossFit. I'm just using the free information. So if big business does it, it's okay, but if the little guy does it, he's a stalker.
Right.
Oh, interesting. You see? You see?
I want to keep it the Wild West.
Ooh, man, so that's a fringe. That's a totally other topic, and there was a guy whose interview I saw recently who was talking about some of the dangers of social media. And I think it's there, and I think it's a good topic for debate and things. We as a society are going to have to grapple with this information and how it's used. How do we feel about, is it 23andMe?
Yeah.
And all the genetic information? Oh, see, it gets real caustic real quick. What I can say is this. I think this gives you the power.
Great for business.
So think about it this way. Let's take old world hustle. The people who were immigrants and they came to America and they were looking to thrive, and they had brick and mortar businesses where a guy opened up, an Italian guy had like a butcher shop and then sold salamis and pastrami's and meats and breads, and he had to connect with his local audience. If we could go back in time and give him this, what do you think he would have done with it? He's a hard-working immigrant. What do you think he would have done with it?
Growing his business.
What do you think Ben Franklin would have done with this? Voltaire. Martin Luther King Jr. You think Malcolm X would have been on Twitter? You think he'd have something to say? This is an extremely potent disruptive force, but it gives you nearly global distribution to build an audience and then put out basically ads, advertising. It doesn't mean it's not personal, it just means it allows you to control. You're producing now, you're not just consuming. Once that narrative flipped, oh man, that was the end. I was like, no, wow. Orwell was worried about the cameras out there. He didn't understand we'd be running around with them. You see the flip? Orwell couldn't have seen that. Couldn't, it's impossible, the technology wasn't there. Let's go ahead and get back to it.
So
That
we'll
was a
need
tech,
to
right?
stop before, so we can do the,
Evals,
Yeah.
15 minutes?
I don't know, maybe 20. We need to pass out their certificates too, and everybody
Okay.
needs to make sure that everything was
Okay, we'll work on
printed
that.
properly and stuff like that.
We'll work on that. So I want to go back into sideline and back into essentially what's the upper back, pec stretch, shoulder blade. We're going to repeat a piece we did the other day just to warm them up, and then we're going to move on to that. Does somebody want to receive?
believe you said you were going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to receive? Yeah. So come lay down here, and then I'm going to put you on your side with your head faced out that way. And your right side's up. Is that going to work for you? Okay. Here you go. So can you scoot forward for me just a little bit? There we go.